colorblind. Give it up.
And now, our feature presentation.
This is episode 35 of Florida Sound Archive Podcast. I'm Jeff Kaiser. It is June 26, 2022, and I have on with me today a very special guest who you may recognize as being the first guest on the podcast way back in January of 2020. Wow, a lot has changed since then. Let's welcome back on the podcast, the one and only Les Norris. How are you, Les?
Jeff, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
Excellent. I'm in sunny, hot-ass South Florida, man. Very, very hot.
I think it's hot everywhere right now, but it might be hotter there.
Yeah, outside it is. I'm trying not to go outside.
What do you got going on this summer? Anything good?
At home, chilling. Going on a little vacation. Just chill with the family.
Oh, yeah? Where are you going?
We go up to Destin, Florida.
Never been to Destin. Isn't Destin known for their beaches?
Yes. It's like Panhandle beach town. I live in a beach town, so I'm going to a beach town. Yeah. It's up in the Panhandle, like on the coast. I never been. I see it all the time, so we're going.
Yeah, that's very nice. And how long are you going to be there for?
A few days, yeah, and then I'm gonna go back, head back down, go to the Dolly Museum, couple brewery stops, Cigar City in Tampa. I like IPAs, heavy duty stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I did have a beer, now and again, IPAs would usually be my beer of choice. Some tasty ones out there.
Yeah, like, cooking with an IPA. Come on, like a pot roast IPA. Come on.
So the last time you were on the podcast was 2 years ago. A lot has changed since then. So how have things changed for you these past 2 years?
Not too much. Same old stuff. Working away, making music still, got new stuff. Same, playing some acoustic shit. And
yeah.
Doing some heavier music now, doing some stuff. Since we spoke, I wasn't doing any other band stuff, and I got some stuff going on with Pete. Really, that's about it. I'm a family guy. My life is like so lame, it's not even funny.
Well, I think the last time when we talked, you had a CD out called Son of a Drunk. Does that sound about right?
Yes, the EP's still out. I don't have any actual physical CDs left, but yeah, you can download it still. I got a new single out I put out in just a few months ago, May. And I got an EP coming out. That song will be on it too. It's a 7-song EP. I didn't title it yet, so I don't know what it's called, but it'll be another month or two.
Is the single Sears and Applebee's?
That's it, yes.
So where does that title come from, besides the fact that it could be about Sears and it could be about Applebee's?
It's actually, like most songs I write, they're a story.
Yeah.
The acoustic stuff I do is just a story, almost pretty much real, besides making a few things fit to make the song actually work. I worked with a guy, and he would tell me it's basically a story of him and his ex-wife and everything. Yeah. So it was not actually Applebee's, the restaurant, but actually she worked at Sears. So yeah. So they're old.
I mean, clearly, because are there any Sears still left?
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
No.
But there are Applebee's.
It's almost like if you listen to you could post. Hopefully, you can go ahead and post it on your on the episode at the end if you want, or during any time on it. You could get it anywhere, download it or stream it. But it's kind of almost like a trashy love story gone bad, and like a guy reflecting on it. Really, nothing to do with me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will post the link though in the description of the video. That way listeners can check it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when should we expect the album?
The full EP next month or two. Soon. I mean, I have it done. I got it mastered. I got to figure out which cover, a little bit of art, and that's it. The hard part's done.
Where have you been recording it at?
I did it at Jeremy's again, Studio 13. Same stuff. It was a lot of it was. It's been pretty much done since 2021, but then after taking some time off, listened to a little bit of it, went back, changed some things.
Okay.
Jeremy did drums on a couple things. Jeremy.
Oh, nice.
Played bass again. Yeah, same as the last one.
Same as the last one. Yeah. What's Jeremy Staska been up to these days?
Recording away. Yeah, keep him busy. I don't know what he's got. Every time I go there's someone doing something. Yeah, he keeps busy.
Any artists or folks that you've run into who may be up and coming that we should keep our eyes and ears out for?
Well, he still works, I know, a lot with JP Soares, blues guy from down here. JP shit is just phenomenal. Every CD. I think he's done all the JP CDs at his studio. Maybe I know one he didn't. That one he did somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, but the rest of them he did at Jeremy's studio.
What are your plans to do? Any shows? Any gigs you got upcoming? Maybe once the release comes out.
I don't have any shows booked. I don't actually have a band. I have me. So if I ever decide to get it rolling, I would. I'm just not, I'm not very interested in being another singer-songwriter guy playing for 15 people at a coffee house. That's just, it's not me. So at the right, if someone wants me to play a decent show and I get up there, yeah, I definitely will.
Would you do any RadioBaghdad covers?
Most definitely.
Tell us what song or two would definitely be on the set list if you were to do a gig.
That'd be something easy to sing and play guitar. So that narrows down half of them are out. It's such RadioBaghdad's such a non-acoustic band, with drums. You know what I'm saying? So I would do maybe someday, I don't know. Definitely someday and something else. I'd have to actually listen to it.
Yeah.
Maybe some older ones that I'm thinking of ones that aren't on CDs that were a little more melodic we used to do. We were more melodic in our early, if you've ever listened, we had some cassettes out prior to the first couple of CDs.
Right.
And they were much more, I would say, influenced by a little more 7-second-ish before it went a little harder.
Yeah. And that seemed to be pretty common now with a lot of punk rockers from the 80s and 90s who had pivoted to more acoustic style of music. So do you think that's always been the case, that a lot of artists like that have always been interested in that style, or what do you think that's all about?
I don't know. Acoustic's just pretty awesome. So, to capture a room, just a guy and a guitar or a simple stripped down setup it's pretty unique. It strips it back to almost the simplicity of songwriting almost, hiding behind banging drums, distortion and yelling, which is all cool. There's a different aesthetic almost to it,
Right.
I dig it. I've always dug it. I recently saw, what's his name? I mean, just recently, Stephen Egerton from Descendants.
Oh yeah.
They were Descendants, I think, were doing a cruise, and I saw all of a sudden on Instagram they were playing some brewery in Boca, Prosperity Brewery, acoustic set with him. So I go down there and it was just amazing, sitting 10 feet away from somebody I'd seen a bunch of times, but in a different format.
Yeah.
Descendants playing with all whatever. It was much different. It was very, very cool.
So that would be nice to get maybe an opening slot for someone like that if you were to go out.
For that, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go downtown for a Wednesday night.
Where was that show at? What part of town?
Prosperity Brewery down in Boca.
Okay.
I had heard of it a bunch, but I never went. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Dan from Dashboard and Bacon Andy's,
okay.
them. They had, I think they had set it up and everything, jam spending with all those guys. So it was really cool to see, to see them in a close up and personal. Man, it was really good.
Yeah. Was that like the first show you've been out to in a while, or were you going to anything else in the last few months to the last year or so?
I saw a bunch of shows recently. My son's getting into some more punk rock, so he drags me out a little more than normal. I recently, just a few weeks ago, I saw Afghan Wigs.
Oh, nice.
One of my favorite 90s alternative kind of rock bands.
Yeah.
They were pretty good.
Yeah.
Circle Jerks I got to catch with my son, which was badass back in December. My personal favorite punk band, and it's one of his too. So it was a great father and son bonding moment at Circle Jerks, watching Keith Morris tell everyone to fuck off. It was great.
I just had Richard Shelter on, and he talked about the Circle Jerks at the Cameo. Did you catch him back then at the Cameo?
Yes, I did, and I listened to the episode. That was a badass episode. I think I saw Circle Jerks like maybe 4 times. Every time since about maybe 87, if they came down, I think I saw them. That was a good episode. The Ramon story he had too was great.
Yeah, that's definitely a fun one. Going back to your son for a quick sec. What does he think of Dad's punk rock years?
Well, he never really cared until all of a sudden he started listening to punk rock. So now it's a little more cooler. Yeah, it was cool.
What was one of the first punk bands you remember him discovering?
Well, it just evolved from it kind of evolved during the pandemic almost.
Okay.
Locked down and trapped with the old man here. So it was it went from almost mainstream Nirvana to some questions to, hey, do you have an extra guitar on board, to picking up the guitar and hey, listen to this and this and this, and oh, didn't you make an album with those guys? And just grew from there. It was cool. And now he's buying more vinyl than I've ever had, and he has 6 guitars, and
wow,
punk rock lives on.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the legacy continues. That's fantastic.
I jinxed them, cursed them, or gifted them. I don't know.
And what's interesting is the episode that we did back in January, that was pre-COVID. So it was only maybe 2 months after that when it was full blown, things were starting to get shut down all over and what have you. So what were you doing in that time? Is that when did you start to write more music? How did you spend a lot of that time when COVID made its landfall?
I work outside. I was never really affected work-wise, so I just kept getting up and going. So it was different. And my son I'd bring him with me. So he was school was canceled for them. They're doing it on the computer, and we just kind of drive around apocalypse COVID land. Not many people out, and just kind of drive, do our work for the day, and come back. And it was weird. It was definitely weird. We'd grab CDs and drive around and listen to music. That's what's you're trapped at home with your old man. COVID's out. You're driving around. Yeah, listen to this. Oh, here, play this chord at home. So yeah, it was cool. It's interesting.
Did you discover any new music at that time?
No, I mean, I get into some stuff through my son. He'll say this and that, or
yeah.
I recently he got me into Turnstile.
I've heard of them, more hardcore kind of band.
But some of the newer stuff, maybe the little more produced, chorusy, sing along, pop.
Okay, yeah.
So definitely I didn't hear that newer stuff too recently, but the older stuff on vinyl was reminiscent of older hardcore, definitely.
Yeah. What about in terms of movies? Did you find yourself watching more movies and that sort of thing during the initial shutdown of things?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did the Stranger Thing. Yeah, caught up on Stranger Things, and it was. I think it was more weird COVID for the kids, and if all of a sudden everyone was just home more. So we definitely have more bonding, watching movies and stuff, and not eating out, sitting home, cooking. Definitely everyone sitting around a lot. It was interesting. I mean, you could probably say the same thing,
Right. What were your thoughts on the whole resurgence of Running Up That Hill from Kate Bush, because it was in the Stranger Things, right? And all of a sudden it started popping up and it made like the #1 in the UK. And it's like almost a 40-year-old song, right?
Yeah, I remember the song. And what's interesting is like my daughter doesn't listen to like a lot of, she likes hip hop, she likes rap, that's what she's into. And like the song she hears from that show she likes, or other TV shows, she's like playing me others from TV shows she's watching. Hey, you ever heard this song? I was like, that's a huge song from the 70s, or that's a huge song. So it's funny how like, she got interest in other tunes from 40 and 50 years ago. Yeah, it's cool. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Kate Bush has got to love it, man. Huh?
Yeah. It seems like that show, and I guess a lot of newer video games. What was that game? Was it Grand Theft Auto? Was that the game where kids are picking up a lot of like punk and hip hop and older stuff though, not newer stuff.
Yeah, 90s stuff, right?
Yeah, 90s stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my son always still remembers like the first, like kind of what he would, punkish or skate music was from playing like Tony Hawk as a little kid.
Right.
Mostly, actually, he'd be like, "Man, I remember that song."
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I don't get it really. I don't get it at home watching TV. But if I'm like driving, I hear some creepy ass early '80s shit, man.
Yeah.
Like I almost get anxiety. Like I got to get the hell out of the fucking car, man. I can't like almost breathe. Like I don't know what it is. Like I'm like in traffic. I got to get through it, put the windows down, and change. Like I don't know if it reminds me of like being like, I don't know, creepy 80s stuff or something.
Yeah.
Just like almost like dancing music and stuff. Like
okay.
What is that? Yeah. Not really nothing. Not like say like not like a popular song. Just something like that. I remember that. That is creepy. Like
yeah.
That. Yeah. Yeah. Like I've been doing anxiety as I got older. Like I have no anxiety in life whatsoever. Like pretty chill forever. But it started in my early 40s, and it gets worse. Like I can't watch anything with like anyone like suffocating in a movie. Any TV show where someone has any trouble breathing, suffocating, if someone chokes someone, if they have trouble breathing, someone locked in something, confined space or something, like instantly I have to change the channel and get up and like distract myself, or I get this like I can't breathe. Fuck, I gotta go fucking outside. What's wrong with the air in here? Turn the air down, turn the fans on. Yeah, it's a new thing.
I was gonna say, this is coming from a guy who has made horror movies.
Yeah. But I don't get it from. It's not like it's like bothering me. It's almost like I'll just be flicking through the channel. It's like, and I used to scuba dive. I like swimming. I like underwater. Like the thought right now, if me and you start talking about scuba diving and me breathing could possibly give me anxiety.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, that's not
like it. I start thinking of like not being able to breathe or something. Man.
Yeah.
It's like it's all in your head.
Yeah.
It's all in your head, but it's like I'll be flicking through. I'll be watching a movie halfway through, and someone gets trapped in a cave or something. Like, oh man, I can't watch it.
But see, that's more real life than, let's say, Jason or Freddy.
Yeah, I don't
like that could actually happen.
Yeah, like anything like that. Any of those. There's some movie I was watching, and they're in like a shark cage, and the fucking thing sleeps to the bottom. The shark cage is like trapped on the bottom, but they're in the shark cage, so they gotta figure their way out. That's like triple anxiety, because it's like you're in the cage and you're underwater and you got to get out.
Right.
And there's sharks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And just
change the channel.
Right. One of the things I have been reading a lot about and seeing also on the news is because it is mating season of alligators. Have you seen more in your area too? Does that ever concern you about going outside one night and whoa, wait a minute. That's not a dog. That's an alligator.
I'm kind of close to canals, and I fish a lot. Like Lake Ida is near my house. I fish around a lot of these areas. I don't see them too often, actually.
Okay.
I haven't probably seen one a couple of years. Now you go to Lake Okeechobee, or you go west. Like if you go, Sawgrass Expressway, west of that, out there, Colorado Springs out there. They're everywhere, but not as much here. I think now people see them. They just call like wildlife department.
Yeah. You mentioned Lake Ida. There's a really bad memory I have of Lake Ida. It was years ago. We were there, and someone that I was with, I didn't know them. That was with a party of people, and they went swimming in the water, and they caught one of those brain-eating amoebas.
Oh shit, man!
And died like a couple days after that. So I never went back there after that. That was the first and last time. I didn't go in the water, but that was the first and last time I've ever been to Lake Ida, and that's what just reminds me of when I hear that. So, and I saw on the news too, like that's something else to be mindful of, I guess, around this time of the year because of the weather and stuff like that. And they tend to want to hang out in warmer water, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been high. That's crazy because my wife would always like warn me about a brain-eating amoeba in warm water, and I would blow her off and like laugh like she was crazy. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's just. Wow.
I think it's rare, but the survival rate is like none. So it's like if it happens, that's probably it. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. So I don't know if there's any horror movies about that, but that might be something to consider down the road.
I have like neighbors that like jet ski out there all the time.
Yeah.
My neighbors don't have much fucking brains.
Well, I don't think brain-eating amoebas have brains either, actually. So,
they don't mind if you like your IQ.
Right, exactly. So, one of the things we didn't really get super deep into, we were talking about just horror and that sort of thing, was we talked a little bit about Gorno when you were on last time. We didn't talk anything about The Fog of War. I have no recollection of talking about that film. That was 2011, right?
Yeah. The original shoot 2011, 2012. We did some reshooting and we finished it up like in early 13. Yeah. So, I mean, eventually at some time, like I sent the edited thing off. I signed off on it. We sent it off to the same people that put out Gorno, brain damage film. So right. I mean, I would say at some time, hopefully this year, next year, timelines are always fucked with things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Were those films? Yeah. Were they filmed in Florida?
Yeah, Gorno was filmed in Orlando.
Okay.
And Fog of War was filmed down here, Delray Beach. How
do you decide the location of the films?
Like 100% money, like cheap, factor. I mean that Fog was basically, how did that come to be? Had wrote a rough script, showed it to some people, wanted to tie it in almost as a Gorno 2, loosely. Wrote it, then we had like a certain budget set. And then as we got closer to actually maybe shooting, it went to like about 1/10 of the budget.
Okay.
So we pulled a big reshoot. The whole thing was probably shot on $8 or $10 grand. And then, good acting in that one. It's a lot. You'll notice an actor from Gorno that's in it. It's way more low budget science fiction horror. Real like conspiracy theory stuff.
Okay.
But still in that trashy suburban feel to it.
Are you big into conspiracy theories yourself?
Oh, I love them, yeah.
What's one of the craziest ones that you kind of look back and you're like, yeah, that was kind of crazy?
Oh, I always the one that always got me was the one about the pizza gate.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was always bizarre to me.
That was at Comet Pizza in DC.
Yeah, I guess I don't know actually how it actually happened, but yeah, they ruined those people's business. It was like tied to some conspiracy of child kidnapping or, whatever it was, some weird thing. I remember reading about it and it was like, not even logical evidence, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just, you got to almost feel bad for those people.
Right. I think they would have occasional punk shows there. I think I saw prior to that. I think I saw a band play at Comet Pizza and never realized that would come of like that would be a conspiracy theory. That
Well,
whole
that's what happens.
thing.
I think as a venue's dying, you put on punk shows. Right? Like, we're a cafe during the day, you know, French bakery. Fuck, we can't pay the mortgage. Get a punk band here tonight. That happens a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I've noticed that though, especially a lot of breweries and that sort of thing, and just casual like bars will have.
Yeah.
I'm not talking like your local band. Like they'll actually have bands from out of town come in and play.
Yeah.
So
I always found it interesting being in a band, like when people are eating. I'm gonna freaking be on the ground screaming in your face is my like goal, like to entertain you. Like eating is almost like, this is fucked up. Like you're eating a meal sitting down. Like I never liked that. I just found it odd to me.
Yeah.
I guess we're not a restaurant. We weren't a restaurant bar band, I guess.
There are some upscale venues that are kind of like that. They have like table service, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just seems funny. Like you're gonna go out there and drink like a 6-pack and half gag your like brains out on stage, and someone's trying to eat. It just seems weird. Yeah, it seems odd. I remember playing shows where, like, I think it might even have been with Holy Terrors, and Rob was up there like making comments about the food or something on stage, you know, as we're playing. It's like it's an odd environment to me.
Did you ever eat something prior to a show, or maybe you drank something and you just really regretted it afterwards, or maybe even during the performance?
That's probably like 90% of all my performances. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have drank those before the show. Like 7 Coca-Colas does give you heartburn. Yeah, I wasn't very healthy back then.
How have you changed your diet between then and now?
Yeah, I don't like literally. I up until like 10 years ago, I probably drank 5 or 7 huge sodas a day, and 3 or 4 coffees a day, and not very healthy. Coffee, I still do. I eliminated all that sugar shit. Yeah. Coffee, though,
You do your coffee black?
I do with just a shot of cream.
Okay.
Yeah, no sugar.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Very nice. I have to go black. That's my style. So I know musically, the most recent thing you've done, I guess, besides just some of the stuff on your own, you've linked up with one of your old bandmates, and also recent guest. If you haven't checked out the interview with Pete Gross, I highly recommend it. It was a really fun interview. There is video of that interview as well. You can catch it on YouTube if you want the audio. Just check out wherever you get podcasts. You can check out the interview with Pete Gross, who played guitar in RadioBaghdad and Collapsing Lungs and Red State Riot, and he's played other instruments, sings, and all kinds of stuff. So you have linked up with him for a new band, Anti-Terror League, which Pete could not confirm or deny that.
No, he'll confirm it. No, maybe. I'll confirm it.
There you go.
Actually, I don't know if he is. I don't see him. He lives in another state. Shit. Yeah.
He lives in another state and an undisclosed location.
Yeah, he mails tracks to Jeremy, and I go there. And
So what's it been like reconnecting with him on a music level?
It's been neat. I only actually, since we've been doing it, physically seen him one time. We hooked up and did that, a couple shots for a video. But let me think. It was probably at the end of 2021. He just hit me up. I know he had done some stuff with the Lungs dudes. Probably wanted to do some more, so he had sent me some tracks saying, "Hey, do you want to like yell on these tracks?" And had sent me some stuff that he wrote, and I think we ended up doing like 2 or 3 songs, pretty quick, and that video for Reckless and the music for that, and we got about 7 or 8 songs now.
Okay.
So I was just there last week recording with Jeremy, so it's like, it's heavy, it's fast, it's not acoustic, it's not all political stuff. Pete writes most of the lyrics and stuff, and it's been fun. It's been fun to yell and scream again.
Definitely has a very current event vibe to some of the topics that you all are taking on in some of those songs. Is that kind of what the intent of it was to just speak about some of the things going on around you and on the news and that sort of thing?
Pete really, even with, Collapsing Lungs, is very political minded, environmental conscious, all that stuff. Me,
Yeah.
not so much back then, not at all.
Right.
More so lately, much more politically aware of things, and just more, more aware of like people trying to, fuck up democracy, really. But Pete has, it's mostly his lyrics. I wrote a few of them, maybe 2 or 3 out of all the songs, the lyrics. Yeah, he has a definite, clear agenda of what he wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Video, the way he wants to make each video and everything. He's got a second video came out. He's gonna have another one coming out in another couple of weeks.
Besides you and Pete, who else is on it?
It's all just me and Pete.
Okay.
Eventually, don't know who's going to play drums or who's going to do. I think Pete will probably end up doing all the bass, but probably have somebody we know play drums on it eventually.
Jeremy?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, because I know Pete did a bunch of the drums, like programmed. Jeremy has sweetened them up. Jeremy has, there's added live drums in there as well. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I'm glad to be on the team, coach. It's Pete's thing. I'll go out there and play fastballs.
Is there any intent to release a digital album or something physical at some point, or is it just right now just kind of recording songs and having fun with it?
Yeah, I would speak for me and Pete 100%. There'll be definitely an EP released. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. At what point, I don't know. I would say, sooner than later. Pete moves quick.
What is it like for you getting back to that more throaty vocal style? Because you've been, taking the more chill acoustic route. So now moving into that again, how's that been for your voice?
Yeah, you just kind of figure out if you can, couple songs, you figure it out.
Yeah.
Kind of comes back like riding a bike,
Right.
I can still scream and my throat is severely damaged forever. I remember that. Sore throats a lot, like all my like late 20s,
Yeah.
Besides smoking and screaming a lot, like it hurt a lot. So bring back some little memories.
Yeah. How long did you smoke for?
I smoked cigarettes from 16 to 30ish.
Wow.
Yeah, good run.
Yeah, that is a good run.
Yeah.
Not in a good sense though.
No, that's a good run, man. I'm lucky I'm not on an oxygen. In the future, I want COPD coming. Yeah. Inhaler.
Yeah. And you felt pretty good though after you were able to give it up?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like if I continued to smoke, I mean that's 20 years ago, I'd fucking be dead. Yeah, I'd be dead. Yeah, definitely. I had trouble breathing. Yeah, everything.
If you would have kept going, you may have started to sound like Tom Waits or something,
That's all right.
Can you give a Tom Waits impression?
No, I'm not doing it. I don't do impressions because then I get ridiculed by people later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is there someone that you've been asked over the years to do an impression of that you do a good job with?
No.
Okay.
No.
You never know. People have those hidden talents, and it never has really come out until someone says, "Hey, so who is it?"
Like all of a sudden, I do De Niro. That would be cool. See, I should have learned like one voice.
Yeah.
If they're like done De Niro or something.
What's your favorite De Niro film?
I like Godfather. Yeah.
Part 1.
Yeah, I mean, 2's cool. I mean, 3 I don't like. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first 2.
What did they say? Is there a part 3?
I mean, I like The Godfather Part 1, but I'll always lean towards Taxi Driver.
Yeah, I like Taxi Driver. That's good. That's really good now too. That's a good. That holds up well in the political.
It does. Yeah.
That movie's really good. Yeah.
Really does.
I haven't watched it in a few years. I have to revisit that one.
And if it wasn't as long, The Deer Hunter, it's a good movie.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
Christopher Walken is in that one.
Yeah. They're like they come back from Vietnam. Is that like Pittsburgh area?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's really,
yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember when I would go to, the local video tape rental. And I don't know if you remember, because you were in Tamarack back in the 90s, right?
Tamarack for life.
So do you remember Major Video? That's where we would go, Major Video. And I remember seeing the Deer Hunter and like the 2 VHS box, and it would intimidate me because it was like, geez, how long is this movie?
Yeah, that was real long. There was only like a couple movies with that, like 2 boxes,
There weren't many at that time. That's why I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
I used to go to Video Waves out on Coral Springs.
Okay.
Remember Video Waves out by the Publix by Taravella.
Yeah. I think that was gone by the time I'd made it to Coral Springs, but off Sample Road was El Cheapo. Did you know El Cheapo?
I remember that. Yeah.
Like most video stores of that day, they would have the beaded curtain in the back.
Yeah, the adult section had the divider.
Yes.
Yeah, we used to see our math teacher in there. Like we go to Taravella.
Is that where you graduated from Taravella?
Taravella.
What year did you graduate?
88.
Was there anyone out of your senior class that was notable that went on to bigger and better things?
Not that I know of, no. I think most everybody in my band went. A lot of people went there that I know. A lot of people I went there. Goldbach went there.
Because at that time, that was only 2 schools, right? Taravella and Coral Springs High. That was it.
Yeah, Jordy went there. A bunch of people I knew.
Were you in the same grade as Jordy? You graduated same year?
No, I think Jordy was with Goldbach. They had classes together. I think like a year 89 or 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any bands that you were in at that time pre-Radio Baghdad? Did you ever play any talent shows or anything at Taravella?
I just had like band buddies that we just fucked around with. Yeah. First real band. Yeah.
First real band. So nothing really serious at that time.
No, I mean, me and Paco, who was the original bass player for Radio Baghdad, me and him had some band with our buddy Dave, and we just, we sucked. We were horrible. We were like making noise and playing, and I think we played a couple little parties and stuff. Yeah, that would probably be in high school, like 11th and 12th grade.
Okay.
I don't even know. Like, trying to think. Not good enough to play, but like we did.
Yeah. Were you playing originals or covers or combination of the two?
Yeah, like a combination of the two. Yeah.
What was a cover you remember playing from back then?
I usually do like some Metallica, like maybe like even like a Ramones.
Okay.
But Butcher Metallica. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Seek and Destroy or something, I think.
Nice. Were you playing any other instrument at that time, or were you mostly just doing the singing?
I played guitar back then.
Okay.
I played guitar back then a lot.
So someone else was on vocals?
No, I would do vocals too back then.
Okay.
Yeah. I always became like a singer out of fucking default. Oh, he didn't show up, sing less. So that guy ain't here, sing, or for practice. Go ahead and sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I originally started as a guitarist. I never, I just kind of wasn't good enough really in Baghdad as a guitarist and fell into singing. Hey, yell, kind of. I became a singer by default. Again, thanks, coach. Glad to be on the team. Do you want a bench warmer? I'll get water. My mom will bring Gatorade.
I know we talked about this the first time you were on back in January of 2020. One of the big influences on you, and correct me if I'm wrong, was Black Flag, Henry Rollins. Is that right?
Yeah, and Circle Jerk. Yeah. Both of them. Yeah.
Always heard that Rollins-esque growl to your vocal delivery style.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm the only one. I think I've read reviews over the years where some reviewers have compared the sound to like Black Flag.
Hey, that's good company,
Yeah. And I don't think we talked about, though, just thinking about over the years and a lot of the shows you played. I know you played a lot of shows in, obviously Florida and other parts of the US, but also you all did some a European tour, right? What, once or twice or?
Yeah, I went twice. Yeah.
Twice. Yeah.
96 and 7 or 90. Yeah, 96, 7, 97, 8, something there. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're doing some of these shows and you're getting a chance to meet some of the fans, what were some of the things that may have been said? Did anyone ever compare Radio Baghdad to another band that you can remember?
Well, I just read a lot of people liked us that liked more like 80s hardcore, like
Okay.
Just kind of straightforward. Maybe not as much as the stuff at the time was a lot of poppy stuff.
Right.
They liked us. We were more, Black Flag, maybe RKL-ish. We liked the Descendants. I don't think we sounded much like the Descendants. We're not melodically, maybe some of it we tried, but we were just more harder sound. They like that. They like overseas. They just like hard. They just like fast.
You sent me a photo of you and Bill Stevenson.
Yeah, from the recording.
Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit when we did our first interview. You were there for how long? About a week?
Yeah, we did the whole album we made in a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to go out with Bill and just, have dinner or just go out and have some drinks or anything like that?
No, I mean, we hung out with them. He, invited us to his house. We hung out. They fed us. They treated us great. They just were very welcoming to us. I mean, as you know, when you're a younger dude, 27, 28, whatever, some of us were 25-ish, and you go out there, you're making a record with your idols, and then they're actually cool, decent human beings.
Right.
It's cool shit,
Absolutely.
I ran into Egerton at that acoustic show recently, months ago, and I only seen him once after we recorded back then, and they remembered me right away, and we talked about the album again, and just super kind guy, cool dude,
What were some of his memories that he may have shared with you that night?
Oh, he just said he just remembered it. He just was that was reminded him of an album they like listening to, just older, harder stuff.
Yeah, that's a great album, though. And I'm a fan of all the Radio Baghdad records, but that one had a different sound to it. You could tell.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah, had a different sound. So, and I also know there was some talk that there was an unreleased Radio Baghdad album out there. So what do you think? Are there any possibilities of just getting it out there digitally at any point, or just, just the raw demo?
I would love to. I mean, it's dark, like that one. It's got some good catchy songs on it. It's dark. It's a dark album, but it's good.
What do you think was the influence of that record? Maybe what were you all listening to at that time?
I mean, it was, I'm not even sure we're listening to, but the band at that point was winding down. So we were still recording. We had got money, I remember, to record, and we went back to Jeremy's and worked on it, not as rushed, not in a week. And we had taken some time, but I mean, maybe someday it'll be out there. We recorded it. I think Jeremy probably has it, but someone would have to pay, for the masters.
Gotcha.
Whoever the record company, I don't even know what record company it was, gave us money to make it. We made it, but it's never been released. So they would have to get it back. They would release it, I guess, but I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know if that was Friendly Cow or One Foot. I'm not even sure.
I was going to say, I know the band had got most of the stuff released by that German label. Was it German?
Yeah, and then we were on another one after the German label was One Foot. So it may have been then that had given us money to record it. We recorded it, and then we kind of disbanded at that time, and then it just was not released. Yeah. Gotcha.
Have you all ever had talks about ever doing, even if it was one night only, like a reunion show?
No. I mean, it's kind of, I'm the only one in Florida. Everyone's pretty much somewhere else.
Yeah.
Everyone's in another state. Yeah.
Special occasion or like a festival of some sort,
Yeah, I'd be up for it anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When was the last time you all played a show together?
Last time I did, I think, God, I don't even know. I can out of town. I remember, I think we went somewhere and played with the Shakers somewhere.
Okay.
St. Augustine, North Florida somewhere. Yeah. But even that was different. That was Goldbach was on guitar, Pete on bass.
Gotcha.
Joe from Shakers on drums, and me singing. So yeah, it switched around at different times. I actually just saw Shakers recently, a couple weeks ago. I love watching the Shakers.
Yeah. So kind of to close things out here, anything else you wanted to kind of share that we haven't talked about that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I got those questions for you, Jeff. I got a couple questions for you.
You did ask me a few questions, and I appreciate you giving me those questions in advance, because those are tough questions. Looking at the first question is, what were some of my favorite local bands? So I looked at that as bands from the era of when I grew up in South Florida, and there's quite a few that I wanted to highlight. One of them, of course, being RadioBaghdad, because you were one of the first bands that I saw at the Coral Springs Civic Center, because it was so close to my house. It was at one of those Chaos shows in the mid 90s. Remember those?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't know who you all were. I just know that I heard from someone at school. Like, I think someone at school knew somebody in one of the bands and had a flyer, and it was like a 10-minute walk. So I walked to there. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And some other bands that I would say are on that list. Quit.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm a big fan of the band Floor from Miami.
Noise.
Noisy,
yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah, it was heavy, like a big wall of sound. I remember.
Absolutely,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Great way to put it there. Yes.
Yeah.
Another band from that, I would say Strong Arm, probably more metallic hardcore.
Yeah, I remember them.
Big fan of Strong Arm. I also love the Crumbs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Did you ever play any gigs with the Crumbs?
I don't remember playing actually with them, no.
But you've seen them, I'm sure.
Them. Yeah, I've seen them. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Against All Authority.
My favorite.
Which they're getting back together, right, for a festival of some sort?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And I believe you also use them on your looks like it was mostly South Florida soundtrack, right? They were in Gorno. They were on the soundtrack.
In the background, they're playing. Yes.
So
a lot of good bands on that.
Yeah. RadioBaghdad being one, and 3 Ton Gate, Sinful Lust. That was Jeremy, right? Jeremy was in that Sinful Lust, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a few others. I'll name 2 more. Ed Mattis's Struggle.
Oh yeah. I've seen them many times back in the day. I mean, I think we may have played shows with them.
I definitely enjoyed them. And The Agency.
Yeah.
Remember The Agency?
Yeah.
So I would say those are some of the few local bands, and there's a long list. I just try to capture a few of them. And the next question was, what were some of your top bands of all time? A few in each category. And that's a tough one because there's so many, but I kind of grabbed a few. I'm very eclectic in all kinds of music. So I would definitely say a few to call out. I love the Jesus Lizard.
Nice.
So they're definitely up there. That actually leads into another question that I'll get to when we get to that question. But they're definitely up there. The Jesus Lizard, TSOL.
They just played down here.
And I love both eras, Grisham and Wood. I just saw Change today with Joe Wood. Love that era of TSOL. Husker Du. And
our favorites.
What's one of your favorite Husker Du songs?
I like New Day Rising.
Yeah,
it's like an inspiring song anytime I hear it.
Absolutely. It's like the song you want to listen to, like right when you're getting ready to go somewhere. It gets you going.
I love the one you see, the one with Dave Grohl and Bob Mould doing it live.
No.
I think, check it out.
I haven't seen that. I will. Yeah. Actually, the funny thing is, I just realized this. I had no idea that Bob Mould was a writer for WCW wrestling in the late 90s. Did you know that?
No, that makes him even cooler.
I mean, I follow a few other shows out there on YouTube, and I see Bob Mould did an interview, and he's talking about wrestling. I mean, he's a huge wrestling fan, and he was a writer for them.
I
Crazy.
used to love wrestling in the 90s. I dragged my wife to freaking underground wrestling all over.
Did you ever go to any of the FOW shows at the Bergeron Arena in Davie?
No, I would. Where was it? The War Memorial Auditorium.
Oh yeah,
ECW.
Yes.
Before it was bought out. Yeah.
Yes. We were probably at some of the same shows. I go to every ECW show.
Yeah, that was at War Memorial. I went there a couple times back in, God, 94, 5.
We'll say they ran there mid 90s all the way to the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Those were good times.
Yeah, that was then. ECW was fucking crazy.
Yeah, definitely a product of its era, because it wouldn't be the same. I mean, they tried to bring it back, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. So some other artists that I wanted to call out, or bands. I'm a huge Stray Cats fan.
Oh, nice.
So, and really Stray Cats, Setzer, the orchestra.
Yeah.
All of it. I love it all.
Yeah,
so
I saw Stray Cats at Sunrise Musical Theater in the early 80s.
Oh, wow.
First album, yeah. Yeah, I forget what year that is. I mean, I don't think I drove yet.
It had to be in the early 80s, I would assume, mid 80s.
Yeah.
First show I ever saw at Sunrise was Tool.
Oh, that's a good one.
96.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty memorable.
That's crazy.
Yeah. A couple others to call out. I'm also a huge hip hop fan. So probably my favorite hip hop group of all time, Tribe Called Quest.
Well, yeah.
GZA is definitely in that list too, as one of my favorite hip hop artists from Wu-Tang. I saw GZA open for Bad Brains in DC.
Oh, yeah. Bad Brains a couple times, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you see him in Florida?
Yeah, I see him. I saw him back in the day, whatever, 88, I think, back at the Cameo. Then I remember seeing him without HR, at Revolution or Chili Pepper. They had the other guy singing at the time.
Yeah.
A younger guy that mimicked his voice great and had a lot.
Oh, really? I think in a way that kind of would be the best thing if they were going to continue to play shows, was to perhaps even just have somebody who was younger, who had that energy that he had back then, who could sing those songs and can do some flips on stage and just kind of get crazy. Because that was something part of the appeal of a band like Bad Brains. There was nothing like them at that time.
Yeah. Getting old sucks.
Yeah. Part of life, I guess. Some other stuff too, just when it comes to, I'm also big into reggae. So like Bunny Wailer, Burning Spear, love that stuff.
Good. Yeah.
Love reggae.
Jeremy was a drummer.
Really?
Band. In the 90s, he played drums for that band, Laku. Laku was a 90s reggae band down here.
Okay.
He played with them for a while, yeah.
I'll have to look them up. I don't know if I'm familiar with them. Tom Petty, the Zombies, Parliament Funkadelic, the Damned. So those are just I know I listed quite a few, but it's hard to narrow that down when you have an eclectic taste. So hopefully that gave some insight to
you're all over
all over the place, man. All over. And if there was one person I could meet, living or dead, who would that be? I went with somebody alive. I think the list of folks that are dead, that can get pretty epically long because there's a lot of them. But I'm a huge fan of Herbie Hancock. I think he's just a musical genius. And if anyone that has not ever checked out any of his lectures he's done over the years, I highly recommend you go to YouTube and look those up. They're usually in parts because they're usually in like a series. And I could just listen to that guy talk, not even play music, just listen to him talk. He's just so brilliant. I'm a huge fan of Herbie Hancock.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
So he would be my pick. And favorite live show ever, I was going to say the Jesus Lizard, all of them. I've seen them play 5 or 6 times. Although when I saw them in Ybor in 97, that was probably the least of my favorites, because Mac McNeely, the drummer, was not with them at that time. But definitely the Jesus Lizard. And there's another band from the 90s that I had a chance to see back in 2017 called Cap'n Jazz.
Hmm.
One of the members, Tim Kinsella, he's been in like a gazillion bands. He's kind of like the Mike Patton of like that genre. He's just been in like so many bands, so many projects. They had not played a show in years, like many, many, many years. Actually, they were one of those bands that I kind of wrote off, like I'll never see them play ever. And they had played a show at Brooklyn Steel in Brooklyn, and I went up for that, and it was magical. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, when you get to with some shows you go to, man, that's the word for it, magical.
Magical. Do you have one? What was that show for you?
I have a few, but I'd probably say one of them was probably the first time I saw All. That was pretty rad, yeah.
What club did you see them?
Or actually, no, that wouldn't be this. It would be the second time. So it would be, I think that was Miami Junkyard, a place called Junkyard down in Miami.
I never heard of it. No one's ever brought up that club before. Was it around long?
Nah, a couple of years, I think. But I remember seeing maybe 92, 3.
Okay.
Yeah, just amazing. Right up against the stage. Right up against the stage. Knew every word. Yeah. Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's nice to have good memories of that one that just really was magical. So, but it's been great catching up, Les. I feel like it's been so long. It's nice to catch up and have you back on the podcast and to share what's been going on in your world and the music you've been working on, and talk a little horror, talk a little bit about brain-eating amoebas and all kinds of other fun stuff.
You should do a live show, play some songs.
I think that would be a great idea to come on. I've actually thought about that, having a couple guests come on and not so much interview, but just maybe some like talking about the music, maybe play a song, chat about the music. And, I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I can do it. I'll go to Jeremy. You can do it right from the studio.
There you go.
Check Friday, we found love, trailer up in Margate, things were so great, but not a booze and a cocaine, 3 straight hurricanes tore down our house of love. I'm trying to get her back, but she ain't coming back. I'm a man with a broken heart, gotta get it back in my heart, gotta get it back in my arms. That old light on the front porch means she's still home. Guess she's probably getting some. That old truck in her driveway, it ain't mine. Guess that she done moved on. That old dog barking there in the backyard ain't mine, my mind's right here. Yeah, I gotta get her back, but she ain't coming back. I'm a man with a broken heart, gotta get it back in my heart, try to get it back in my heart. All the things that I should have done, all the things that I should have said, yeah, it's too late now.